alle sammen. Mit navn er John Nielsen, og vi er her på Anderstorp og i Sverige. Og det er her, vi skal ligesom prøve at udbygge vores føring i mesterskabet, BPR-mesterskabet, som vi jo fører. Det vil sige min tyske makker, Thomas BPR og jeg. Så nu vil jeg godt vise jer rundt på bilen, men det må vi hellere gøre i engelsk.
West McLaren's John Nielsen and Thomas Fischer come to Anderstorp after 7 rounds of the Karcher Global Endurance GT as championship leaders, following wins at Monza and Donington Park. Nielsen shows us his car.
This is my McLaren GTR F1, it's called. It's basically a road car that McLaren has converted into a racing car. And to do that, they needed to change a lot of things. And one of them is like the brakes. We're using carbon brakes in this car because the steel brakes are just getting too hard worked, and therefore we need some better brakes. And they were introduced for Le Mans, and from now on we have them all the time. They've made the car much better to drive, and also we don't need a brake pad change during the race. We can do all race without it. There, I can just show you the brakes. Actually, you always get dirty brakes or dirty wheels from brake dust and things like that. But with carbon brakes, the car gets completely black. And as you see here, it is just black. I have a disc here in front of me, and for a disc that size, made out of steel, would weigh about 14 kilos. This one weighs about 2 kilos. So the whole car is always a lot lighter with these brakes. They are a big advantage, and we're really happy having them. Sorry. The McLaren is a very unique car because it is because of the driving position. Actually, if we go in the cockpit, I can show you this. We're back in here now, and the position of the car, or how the driver sits in the car, that's very unique to this. It's called an F1, and that is because it's basically built like a single seater where you have the driver in the middle. And this is where we work. There's nothing special about it really, other than the chassis. It's carbon fiber, which is not very often seen on sports cars. Only on Formula 1 cars and Formula 3 cars, they are carbon fiber. This is where I work, and you know, it's normal seating position. Gearbox is down here. It's a 6-speed gearbox, synchronized also, so we can't do too many mistakes on that. And this is the control panel over here. Then I have a couple of buttons on the steering wheel. One is for the radio, so I have contacts with the bits, and one is for the computer inside, so I can control and see what the engine is doing, what the temperatures and the pressures are. Apart from that, I have a couple of cooling ducts. I get some air in, and therefore it's not too warm in here. Although we have measured temperatures up till about 70 degrees, so sometimes we do sweat a bit. We walk further back the car. We're getting towards the back end of the car, and if you look down the engine bay, this is where all the power comes from. This is a 12-cylinder engine. It's a 6.1 liter. It has about, we don't know exactly, but about 650 horsepower. As a race driver, you always want more, but this one is pretty good. It's very reliable. It's been good all year, and we're very proud of having that engine because that's the thing to have. Behind it is the gearbox, and this gearbox is transversal. It's underneath the exhaust systems here. So it is a very compact car. It means that all the weight on the car is between the two wheels or the two axles, and therefore the handling of the car is quite good actually. Apart from that, this engine makes the car very quick. It does about 360 kilometers. So we're getting down the road. So this was the McLaren car, and this is the West competition car, and actually it's the car that we led Le Mans with for nearly about 11 hours. We didn't win it, but McLaren won it, and it's a good car, and it's a car for the future in this kind of racing. So why don't you watch us here at Anderstorp and see us win the race and extend the lead in the championship.
Built in 1968, the ageing Anderstorp, Swedish for Anders House, was once the home of the Swedish Grand Prix. It was here that Ronnie Peterson learned his craft, just failing to win his home race in 1973, a puncture-giving victory to Denny Hulme. Tyrrell won here in 1976 with its six-wheeler, and Brabham with its fan car in 1978. Both were later banned, until this weekend's invasion by Ferrari, by McLaren, Porsche, Jaguar and Corvette. Anderstorp has not seen international racing since the heady days of the European Touring Car Championship. Thomas Lindstrom, Ulf Grandberg and Anders Olofsson were all winners for Volvo with its 240 turbos in the mid-1980s against the Tom Walkinshaw Rovers. Set in the middle of Sweden amongst pine and birch forests, 120 kilometers east of Gothenburg, the 4-kilometer circuit has remained unchanged. For gravel traps, there are dust holes, and for clinical concrete and steel walls, there are grass runoffs and toppling tyre walls. But Anderstorp has great character in its 10 turns, its front and back pit lanes, unique in motorsport, and its fast back straight which doubles as the local airstrip. But it still pulls in the fans, and still here's the man who discovered Ronnie Peterson, his former manager, Sven-Erik Eriksson. Was it good, we asked him, to have the international stars back?
It's very nice indeed to have top-class motor racing in Sweden again. It's been a few years now, so we love this, and even the weather loves it.
All the drivers love the track. Are there any improvements planned for the future? You're going to have more international racing here?
We certainly hope so, but we're taking one step at a time. We'll do this, and then we'll talk.
We saw a big event at Helsinki 3 weeks ago. Is this your response?
You could say that, but they did a fantastic job from zero. I mean, this circuit was built in 1968, but we have to improve things. And, the people in this area, they are known to be very stubborn, and we will come back for sure.
Hej! Välkomna till Anderstorp och Sverige. Jag heter Anders Olofsson. Jag ska ta er runt ett varv med min Ferrari för att försöka sätta en bra varvtid här. Och hoppas att ni njuter av detta.
Well, local hero Anders Olofsson welcoming us to Anderstorp. Says, I'm driving for Ferrari, come with me for a lap of the circuit. Well, he tells us here we are passing the start and finish line, going into the first corner which leads out onto the main straight, which we call the landing strip. Here I'm using third gear to make a smooth line with a good exit from the corner. I've got a car in front, pass him as soon as I can. Now we're reaching 265 kilometers on the straight before we have to start braking.
Innan vi får börja bromsa och ner till tvåans växel.
This is the second gear corner. As soon as the car becomes straight, we're accelerating flat out, up into third for the next corner.
Ner till tvåans växel
we change down again, take the corner in second gear. Corner before the old start and finish line, accelerating hard in third gear. Change up to fourth gear. We're braking again hard for the next corner in third gear. This one I'm taking very smoothly to make the exit as straight as possible. For additional speed on the short straight to the next corner. Looking to pass the McLaren, through we go. There I have him. I keep the car on the inside line to make a good exit from this corner. I can use all the power my engine's producing now, then up to fourth gear. Start braking approximately 100 meters before this next corner, which is the Hansen corner. This goes under the Gislava Bridge, leads me into the carousel. Keep third gear, keep up the speed without using too much or the rear end be hanging out too much. Now we're driving in the slowest corner of the circuit, down to second gear. Quick acceleration through second gear, third gear, my lap's finished. Enjoyed my lap, we're going to be doing 150 to 200 like this on Sunday.
Så var ett varv färdigt. Jag hoppas ni har haft trevligt. Så här kommer jag göra på söndag med 150-200 varv. Förhoppningsvis. Tack.
one of the main privateers in the BPR series continues to be Conrad Motorsport. The Austrian team already a GT2 winner this year and a Daytona regular. Here at Anderstorp, Franz Conrad has 3 cars, 2 in the 480 brake horsepower GT2 category, 1 in the 650 horsepower GT1 class. Franz is a real Porsche lover. We talked to the veteran racer Conrad about his season. It's all going well this year, he says. We have 3 cars here and I'm very satisfied. Although we lost an engine yesterday. Well, we've changed it. New driver of ours missed a gear. He was honest, he told me about it, so we changed it. Well, the BP series, he said, is progressing well. We've got great racing and some good opposition now. Really hard fighting.
Und jetzt haben wir das letzte Rennen erstmal hier auf europäischem Boden praktisch, dann geht es mal nach Japan.
This is the last race in Europe before we go to Japan. Everything's got to be packed up next week to go on a ship. Of course, we want to do the remaining European rounds, so we'll keep 2 cars here. Hope there'll be no damage in Suzuka.
So viel kaputt geht, dass wir dann auch die beiden Läufe hier zu Ende fahren können.
Well, another Porsche privateer is Lanzanti Motorsport, which runs a Porsche GT2 in the BPR series, but ran the Leto Dalmas Sakaya McLaren at Le Mans. I talked to Paul Lanzanti.
Paul Lanzanti, you pulled off what everyone thought was impossible, McLaren winning at Le Mans with your team. Where do you go from here?
Backwards, I think. These 4-hour races now like a morning warm-up. I mean, it's really sad, to be honest with you, but it's good. It's good.
Does this give you a lot more confidence now for races like Anderstorp, Suzuka, and so on?
I think we've learned a lot. Never having done Le Mans before, we've learned a hell of a lot from the 24-hour races. It makes the 4-hour races we're a little bit more comfortable with them.
And of course, not only did McLaren win first time out, but you as a team won first time out there.
That's right, precisely. Everything was the first of. New team, new car, first time there. It just happened for us.
After a hard-fought qualifying, Soames Langton in the Lanzanti Porsche takes GT2 pole. Wolfgang Kaufmann pricing a Porsche 7th. Ray Bellum, 6th place for Gulf McLaren. And in 5th place, John Nielsen in the West McLaren, the man who's already won 2 races this year and led those 11 hours at Le Mans. Anders Olofsson, the man we just went around the circuit with, 4th fastest in the Ferrari Club Italia entry. And Pierre-Henri Raffinel setting the pace for the McLarens in the Gulf McLaren. He shares of Lindsay Owen-Jones in third. Second fastest, Gary Ailes, Britain's Ferrari driver. A great performance by him, front row of the grid. And on pole position, Michel Ferte in the Aldix Pilot Ferrari. 1 minute 30, 5:47. As the Aldix team celebrates its first ever pole position with this Ferrari, we talk to Michel Ferte. Superb, he told me. We're very happy. It's our first of the season. We set the time in the first session. That was our priority. And then we just waited to see if anyone would go faster. Well, they didn't. So we've kept pole position.
I was told I could go and push, and I was just talking to Anders. I really enjoy the circuit. You can really get the thing flowing around here, and no, it wasn't a surprise.
So it was a great qualifying performance. Are we going to do the same sort of power in the race, or are we going to have to turn the wick down a bit?
No, we're definitely here to win today, and that's what we're going to do. No, we're not going to turn it down. We're going to give it more, if anything, because we want to come away with a win, definitely.
Well, GT2 pole might have gone to GT2 leaders. Calderari and Briner had their new Porsche not caught fire. Instead, Paul Bedell's Lanzanti team takes its first of the year. I talked to him.
We're very pleased. Both Vito and Sums have done a super job. Sums in particular getting us on pole position. That's our first pole of the year. Paul's, we're just unwinding. I think the team's unwinding from their Le Mans victory. So we're very pleased about, basically just trying to get it together after a very, very long week. And we're looking forward to the rest of the season.
And a first pole position too for Aldix Ferrari, for Ferte and his young co-driver Olivier Thévenin.
Après la publicité, reste avec nous sur Eurosport. Live.
Anderstorp, you joined me, Mark Cole, here on the grid for the 7th round of the Karcher Global Endurance GT. On pole position for this 8th race, Michel Ferte, Aldix Ferrari F40, Massimo Monti, Ferrari Club Italia F40. Row 2, Pierre-Henri Raffanel for Gulf McLaren. And alongside him, Anders Olofsson in the Ferrari Club Italia F40. John Nielsen, the row 3 for West McLaren, the man who's won 2 races this year. And alongside him, the little Brazilian Maurizio Sala, sharing with Ray Bellum in the Gulf McLaren. They, by the way, have got the Eurosport onboard camera with them. Wolfgang Kaufmann, Freisinger Porsche, with Monteleri winner Peter Obendorfer, who's joined him for this race in Sweden, and Soames Langton at the wheel of the Lanzanti Porsche with Paul Bedell and Vito Rossler. And row 5, Enzo Calderari and Lilian Briner in Stadler Porsche, the car that's rebuilt overnight after that fire, and this car replacing the Le Mans car they lost in a late night crash. We start off on the rolling lap around this very attractive Swedish circuit here in the pine forests. Big field spread out, another quality race, of course. 4 kilometer, 4.025 to be exact, on board with Maurizio Sala, the first time in a McLaren for our Eurosport camera. Into the final lap, coming up to the start line. Lights are red, lights are green, and the start is on. Well, Ferte gets the whole shot on Massimo Monti, banging into that first corner, leading into the first corner. The 2 McLarens, and then local hero Olofsson looking for a way past as well. Down that long back straight, which doubles as an airstrip, as Olofsson told us earlier. Look at the Ferraris at the front just pulling away, but Pierre-Henri Raffanel there. Sala being passed on the back straight by Wolfgang Kaufmann's Porsche. Sala just feeling his way into the race at the moment, not pushing too hard this early, but Massimo Monti looking to depose Ferte for the lead, pushing all around this circuit here in the middle of Sweden. But still Ferte leading. From Monti, from Pierre-Henri Raffanel, and the move there by Anders Olofsson on the inside, takes third place, I think you'll see. Yes, indeed, the Ferrari goes through third, pushes the Gulf McLaren wide. These Ferraris using their up to 700 horsepower to great advantage. McLarens with their BMW V12s back 650 horsepower, still the same order, still Ferte. Then Monti, then Olofsson, the local hero, man who won here in 1985 and 1986, driving for Volvo. It's the first time he's been back since then, although he did all his first racing days in Formula Ford here on his home circuit. Ferte pushing ahead in the Pilot Aldix car, the car that was found in a museum last year. It was an IMSA Ferrari F40. very similar to the type that Jean Lacey drove in the late 80s, but now doing great work in 1995, leading here in the 8th round of the BPR Endurance GT Series. Oh, someone's off down there below, but in fact it's a Corvette, we believe. Carl Rosenblad in the Augusta car going off. John Nielsen looking for a way by Pierre-Henri Raffanel, but Raffanel's not giving any quarter in the Gulf McLaren, holding off the West McLaren. Still the same order. 3 laps completed, and it's Ferté. Getting all the power down here through the slightly banked corners. Still leading as they cross the start-finish line in front of a massive crowd of 20,000 spectators, which the Swedish organisers say is really something for Anderstorp. They haven't seen crowds like that since Formula 1 all those years ago. Oh, the order changes as they come out into the midfield section, and it's Monty's gone through now. Olofsson trying to go from the inside. No, but they touch. Olofsson and Ferté go off together on the outside of the corner, and it leaves Monty with a clear run. Let's see what happened if we can. Where's Olofsson? Olofsson is there. Car is deep in the sand. The marshals trying to push it back out of the kitty litter. They do it. He's able to find reverse, but Massimo Monti now going ahead for Ferrari Club Italia. Ferté continuing. Oh, Sala's off! Sala goes off the track in the McLaren. It's not the way to treat a $1 million GT race car, but he gets it back on the road. It's a bumpy trip though, and on that trip he tears off one of the radiators. There's a lot of damage underneath. He's heading back to the pits now. Also going off the road. Oh, there's Carl Rosenblad. He's gone off in the Corvette, and he's dropping all sorts of muck all over the circuit on his return. Well, this is our race leader now. Oh, there's a collision with a back marker there. That's the burnt racing car of Andy Bovensiepen, but no harm done. Passing back markers already this early in the race, so Sala back in the pits, and Michael Cain's GTC competition crew looking at the damage. They're going to start work on it, but they will lose 30 laps in repairs. Sala explaining what happened. Also in for repairs, Anders Olofsson, a lot of front end damage and a bent front wishbone as well. All the battles going on behind now. This is our top 3 cars. It's Monty, and John Nielsen takes that second place from the Gulf car of Raffanel, locking up a rear brake as he did so. Into that long first corner, slightly banked onto the back straight. Fastest part of the circuit. Monty, very sure-footed now in the car, of course, which he is sharing with Gary Ailes and with Fabio Mancini. So Gary Ailes full of expectancy for a first win for Ferrari here, and I think all the sensible money on Ferrari this weekend, because they really have had the pace of this circuit the whole weekend. Can they last? They did it at Le Mans. Can they do it here? John Nielsen, oh, going very wide there indeed. That is Peter Zibdan in the one of the Porsches there. Oh, now John Nielsen attacking. He's gone through into second. Now he's making a bid for the lead all around the circuit. He's pushing Monty very hard indeed. Nielsen, probably the most experienced of all these sports car drivers racing here this afternoon in Sweden. 3 goes on the inside. Oh, but Monty's taken that moment anyway. Probably tires have had enough. Goes off into the pit road, and John Nielsen, sharing this car with owner Thomas Bischer, takes the lead of the Anderstorp 4 hours here in Sweden. Pit stop for what was the leader. This makes this man now the leader. Big John Nielsen from Denmark, man who's won at Monza and Donington Park. And eventually Ray Bellum rejoins. They have lost 30 laps, but they're going back in. It can become a good test session anyway, as John Nielsen continues to lead the field here. He'll soon be heading for the pits as well though. Well, this man, Pierre-Henri Raffanel, of course now up into second place, sharing his car with Lindsay Owen-Jones. Some great performances by this pairing this year, particularly at Le Mans. John Nielsen in the pits. Comes in to hand over to Thomas Bischer, the German banker who owns this car. Shares it with his friend, John Nielsen. Out goes Bischer. See the mess on the car from the carbon brakes, which Nielsen was telling us about earlier. Well, this is Raffanel handing over to Lindsay Owen-Jones. Distinctive day-glow orange helmet. of the Frenchman as the British driver takes over there. Strapped in the car by his partner, refueled by Michael Caine's pit crew. Back out goes the Gulf car. Now in third place again, because this man once more leading, Gary Ailes at the wheel. And after a great stint, Gary Ailes keeps that car in the lead and eventually hands it over to Fabio Mancini for the final stint of the race. Well, a lot of drama in the last hour because Lindsay Owen-Jones runs out of power. Problem with the engine management system, the car slows and then stops. He gets it going again though, heading for the pits, but there he's being lapped once, he'll be lapped again, and he rejoins eventually 3 laps down. Well, drama in the final hour. Mancini running into the back of Nielsen. This is the lead battle. Nielsen's taken the lead in the later on. After Gary Ailes handed the car back, and Mancini, a very opportunistic move there, runs into the back of him as Owen-Jones has the engine management computer changed, rejoins, still in third place, amazingly, but 3 laps down, but this battle around the circuit goes on, and again Mancini touching John Nielsen's West McLaren. So what is Mancini thinking of? This is the lead battle, there's 40 minutes of the race left to go after 4 hours. Again, Mancini trying to go through on the inside of the West McLaren. Doesn't come off, he hits it, knocks it sideways. This must end in tears, he hits him again. This is incredible, this is like Formula Ford racing. This is the final hour of a 4-hour enduro. Oh, they touch, and Mancini's in big trouble. He's off, he's into the gravel. Oh, there's an explosion of dust, and it's all over. The car is deep in the gravel. Well, John Nielsen continues as Mancini gets out, having thrown away what seemed almost certain to be victory there for Ferrari Club Italia for the first time. Well, Nielsen continues, but unbeknown to him at this moment, he has got a deflating front tyre. So what a dramatic race this has turned out to be. Behind them, almost neglected, a big battle going on for GT2 honours between Conrad Porsche and Stadler Porsche. Here comes Big John leading the race, but he's got problems. Deflating front tyre, still unaware of it. Carving through his Porsche back markers. Well, they're hardly back markers because they're the GT2 leaders. And indeed, they are already up into the top 6 in this race. Well, Nielsen comes through again, and there in the foreground, the stranded Ferrari. But Nielsen goes off, big moment as the tyre deflates, and he's back into the pits. How that tyre deflates, but they've certainly lost the lead now because the Aldix Pilot Ferrari is out front. Look at that, there's the evidence, almost certainly a legacy of the collision with Fabio Mancini. In comes Olivier Thévenin in the Aldix Pilot Ferrari F40, the privately owned car owned by Stéphane Rattel, one of the partners of BPR. Michel Ferté giving him last-minute instructions. There are just 20 minutes of this dramatic race left. Out goes Thévenin. Young driver, one of the Volant El Filier scheme drivers. Well, let's have a look at the top 7. This is the Porsche Lanzanti GT2 in 4th place of Soames, Burdell and Rosler. And in 6th place, it's Ferdinand de Lesseps, Charles Margaron and Philippe Chariol, their sponsor, driving for the first time with them, 3rd in GT2. The Stadler Porsche of Calderari and Bryan are doing all it can to make up for that fire it had yesterday. They will finish 2nd in GT2. We look at some of the action being passed by the race leader and by the 3rd place man, Pierre-Henri Raffanel. Well, for this man, Franz Conrad, a great day because they turned some disappointing non-finishes in recent times into GT2 victory and an impressive 4th overall. Conrad driving with Marco Spinella and Tony Seiler. Here's the Gulf McLaren of Raffanel and Owen-Jones, a great 3rd place for them, saving honours for Gulf. And also doing a great job for McLaren. John Nielsen and Thomas Bischer finishing 2nd overall. Which leaves just ahead of him on the road by 45 seconds, this car, Michel Ferté and Olivier Thévenin. Ferté man who won for Venturi last year in the BPR series. This is his first win this year, and it's Olivier Thévenan's first ever win for the young Formula 3 and touring car expert. Made a great step up into GT racing, and what a fine performance by the man in the car at the moment. Checkered flag's waiting, he takes the win for Ferrari. It's a big victory because McLaren have been beaten for the first time in a straight fight this year. So Ferrari take the win and the team celebrates. Stefan Rattel and Michel Ferté very emotional there up on the pit wall as Thévenan takes the applaud of this big crowd here at Anderstorp, all 20,000 of them on his slowing down lap. The team rushes to congratulate their drivers as I talk to Stefan Rattel.
Un extraordinaire moment parce que c'était vraiment.
It's an extraordinary moment, said Stefan, beating McLaren. We've been trying to do it for a long time. It's very satisfying. Everyone believes the Ferrari is fragile, but we have the same engine and gearbox from Le Mans. So it's really satisfying for me. Olivier told me, well, I must thank Michel in his confidence for letting me share the car with him. This is a big moment for all of us. Well, a famous victory here in Sweden, and on the podium, delighted French pairing there. Nielsen and Bischer now leading the Karcher Global Endurance GT with 160 points. Second, Bell and Sala on 134. They finished 13th, by the way. And third, Calderari and Breiner. GT2 leaders on 127. There's confirmation of the results, 45 seconds after 4 hours. And a great day for Franz Conrad there in fourth, winning GT2.
John Nielsen, the start of the programme, you told us very confidently you were going to win. What happened?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, didn't it look like that? Yeah, we were going to win, but unfortunately there was a little incident, of quite a big one actually, towards the end of the race, and I had a puncture and I didn't get into the pit before the tire blew, and therefore I got in the dirt. And then you look like this, you know, mud digger or something like that. So carbon brakes and mud, it really looks nice.
But at the end of the day, Ferrari won, but you still lead the championship.
Yes, I mean, we came here to Anderstorp to extend our lead. We've done that. We should be very happy. I think people had a good race. Everybody enjoyed it, and let's get on with the next one.
Where should we go next?
Well, we go to Suzuka in Japan and have some rice.
Thank you for being with me, Mark Cole. Join us after the next round. Eurosport will be in Suzuka, Japan at the end of August.